Good morning, everybody. This is Crackers Crazy Living. It's Monday, Martin Luther King Day. I'm off work, and I am going to be making some donut balls. I don't call them donut holes. I call them donut balls because they're not really holes. They're balls. So, what I did was I took two packages of biscuits. I was just going to make one batch, but I decided to make both cans. There are 5 biscuits in each can, and I cut them into each biscuit into 4 pieces. I learned this hack from my daughter-in-law, Tiffany. Then we're going to roll them in cinnamon sugar. It's just going to be a treat for the kids this morning. They're easy to do. I'm going to try to bring you over to the stove. Let's see. I got my hot oil going here. It's kind of rickety right there. Got my hot oil. I don't have a thermometer for my oil, so I'm just going to test it with a piece of dough and see if it's hot yet. Take a little biscuit and drop it in there, and yep, it's frying, so it's ready to go. So I decided that you don't have a big fryer or anything. So I'm just going to do a few pieces at a time. I'm not going to overload my pan. I got my burner on high. So I think that's good. I don't want to overcrowd my pan. Got this really neat scooper strainer thing that I bought from Pampered Chef. It's cool. All right, see, these are already turning brown. All right, you flip them over as best as you can. They don't flip too good. Flip over. Maybe I'll use a fork to flip them over and use the other things to pull them out. I wanted just plain biscuits, but these are the buttermilk flaky biscuits. So I will see how they come out. I'm not sure about all that. It's the first time I've done this. So we'll check it out. They're kind of like blowing up because they're flaky layers. Oops. All right. So definitely something that you do not want to turn your back on. You never want to turn your back on hot grease. Be careful, take caution, because, one of the main causes of house fires is grease. Kitchen fires. We don't want that. Sister was telling me that my brother caused a house kitchen fire from cooking something he was cooking. Maybe I'll turn this down to 9. Yeah, they kind of separated a little bit because of the flaky layers, but that's all right. I'm just going to let them sit on in this dish. I have a dish with paper towel. Gonna let them sit there. Just trying to roll these buggers over a little bit. Tiffany didn't have any. Yeah, these are browning kind of really quickly, so I'm gonna turn them down to 8. I don't need them up really, really high. They're already almost burning on the one side. We don't want that. We don't want them to burn. They don't take long to cook at all. Really, they don't take that long. Now, if you wanted to make real donuts out of biscuits, you could just cut the middle out and fry the whole thing like a donut, like a real donut. I turned it down to 8.5, 7. You don't want them too low because you want to make sure they fry. But those were frying really fast. They don't take long at all. Just get them in there, flip them over, brown them on both sides, and they're done. I mean, they're fast. So I'm not going to throw this grease away because I'm only doing biscuits. So I'll let my grease sit on the stove all day because I'm going to be leaving the house. And when I get home, it'll be nice and cooled. And then I'll just strain it back into the bottle and I'll mark the label, donut grease. And then I can reuse it because I used a half a gallon of oil to fry these in this pan. And I'm not going to just dump it out in the trash. I'm going to keep it and use it again for donuts or whatever. You can do that. It's fine to do that. I know in other states where it's colder, they just leave it on their stove covered. Can't really do that here in Florida because it gets too hot. Grease will get rancid. So I'll stick it in this bottle, and if I feel like I need to refrigerate it, then I can do that. Yeah, those are kind of brown, but that's okay. I'm going to roll them in cinnamon sugar. I might roll some of them in powdered sugar. I don't know. Powdered sugar is so messy, it seems like. I don't feel like making icing. So I'm not going to make any icing for these. See, that was just really fast. That only took, I don't know, not even 10 minutes, I don't think. I'm going to wipe up my greasy mess. Kind of a mess here. And if you have a big crowd for donuts, you know, if you have a bunch of people, you could get a couple of bigger cans. I think when Tiffany did it, she actually just used the Pillsbury ones, which are a little bit smaller in size as far as the biscuit. And but you know, if you get a couple of cans, you could get upwards of like 40 pieces of donut balls. All right, I'm gonna bring you back over here. Stove is off. Grease is off the burner. All right, here we are. I'm gonna take my donut holes. I'm gonna throw them in here. A few at a time. I'm gonna zip up my bag and give them a nice shake. Oh yeah, those are gonna be nice and coated. I'm going to get another little bowl here. Put them in. Should get my slotted spoon back. Maybe I'll get a different spoon. I have a different slotted thingy here that I can fish them out of my bag with. Oh yeah, look at those. Ooh, mama. You can roll them in anything you want. Powdered sugar. I like cinnamon sugar. Cinnamon sugar. I could make a glaze for these if I wanted to, you know, make a thin glaze and just put them on a sheet pan with a sheet pan underneath of a rack like a cooling rack. And then just drizzle the frosting right on over the top. Let them dry for a second, and you get glazed ones. We like cinnamon sugar. Definitely put these in your cinnamon sugar when they're still warm, because that's when they'll stick, when the sugar and the cinnamon will stick. They will stick the best. This works great because it sifts out the sugar at the same time. It sifts it at the same time as retrieving them. And you can save your cinnamon sugar too. You can put it into a jar with a nice lid on it and just mark it cinnamon sugar. Pull it out. My mom, when I was a kid, my favorite breakfast, and it's not, you know, it must have just been a thing that our moms did back in the day, because me and 2 other people were talking about this at work the other day. One of the most favorite breakfast treats of all time that our mothers made us was cinnamon toast. You just took a piece of bread, put it in the toaster, and it pops out. You covered it in butter. You just spread your butter all over it, and then you sprinkled on your cinnamon sugar. Cinnamon toast. That was the thing back when we were kids. I made it for my kids a couple of times. I don't remember making it a lot, because how many kids really need that much sugar, honestly? It was a nice treat. So with my cinnamon sugar, I did a cup of sugar, and then I didn't even measure the cinnamon. I just dumped it in there because I like cinnamon. For me, the more cinnamon, the better. So here we go. Beautiful homemade donut balls that were quick and easy. Super fast. What did that take me? 10, 15 minutes total. Total time. It's nice when you don't have to fiddle with making the dough from scratch. You can just get biscuits and cut them up. Nobody's ever going to really know the difference. I mean, you know. But Calvin is 4. And he just likes donut holes, you know. He just likes his donuts. Let's try one. Let's taste one. Just give me a small one here and shake it off. Fluffy on the inside. Almost as good as a pretzel. Yeah, them are good. Nice hot cut. See, and I just cut them in 4s, but they're pretty round, you know. I don't think I have another one. Inside. All right. That is it for this episode of Quacker's Crazy Living Biscuit Donut Hack. I'm sure we're not the only ones that done this. I'm sure it's out there on Pinterest and everything else. But I remember when I went over to Tiffany's one day and I said, "What are you doing?" She says, "Making donut holes." And I said, "How are you doing that?" And she was showing me. I was like, "Oh my gosh, how easy." And you can make a ton of them. I mean, get a couple cans. You could make, you know, if there's 10 biscuits in a can and you cut them into fours, that's 40 donut balls. 40. That's a lot, you know, if you're feeding a big crowd. It'd be great. It'd be good for a party. Something different. You could have some, you could have your, you know, you could have plain ones. You could have cinnamon sugar ones. You could have powdered sugar ones. And if you had the plain ones, you could have the dipping frosting right there. You could make chocolate. You could make raspberry. You could do any flavor. You could do just plain. And then you just take your donut hole and dip it into your stuff, and that would be a fun little dessert party, wouldn't it? That sounds good to me. All right, that's it this time. If you have not subscribed to my page and you like what you see, please subscribe. Hit the bell for your notifications. Give me a thumbs up and share me with your friends. And I will see you next time I do something for Cracker's Crazy Living. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.